So yeah, I was just sitting here like just waiting, and then I realized I had started my private room, not the actual webinar. So I apologize to everyone for being late. Usually I have the music going and everybody can kind of like just segue in. So for those of you who watch on YouTube, which is quite a few of you, um, before if you join one of our live Zoom webinars, I have music playing. And the advantage of having music playing when people join is it helps them set their speakers. Some of you are in headphones, some of you are in your ambient using your ambient speakers, but it all sounds different. And Zoom tends to play with sound, so it gives you a chance to like have your webinar participants like normalize to whatever you're doing.
Zoom likes to play with all the settings.
Huh?
Zoom likes to play with all the settings.
I know. It gets horrible being on Zoom all day. So. All right. So what do we have today? I was excited about today's. I put it in the name. I'm like, oh yeah, finally, it's this week. Let me pull up my notes here since I was completely messed up this week. I know we're hitting the end of the year. I was talking to my kids about like getting their work done this week, and I said, hey, we're not that far away from the end of the semester, because I was at Menards and they had the Christmas lights out. I said, oh my gosh, the end is nigh. I mean, I know they put them out way too early in my opinion, but then we really think about it. If you look at the newsletter, it's 6 weeks to Halloween, it's 9 weeks to Thanksgiving, and it's 13 weeks to Christmas.
Yeah.
It should scare the living crap out of you. You're like, oh, 13, that's forever. No, because when I do the math, when I talk about how you should have your project plan, like last week, we talked about how you should have your project plan in place now for 2023. Because you want to be the first person with your hand out. But in reality, you only have 8 weeks, 8 solid business weeks until Thanksgiving. Once Thanksgiving hits, we all know as veterans in this world, nothing gets done after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving all the way to the end of the year is just everybody trying to clean up their years, make sure that they got their projects done, maybe some end of the year purchases really quickly, but really no project planning. I mean, it's really hard to end up meeting with people because they're out of office. They're doing early Thanksgiving. Some people combine their Thanksgiving and Christmas here in the United States. We combine the two into single holidays with family. And so they're out of town for that, or Bob's getting that end of year vacation in, or they're going to a conference, and it just is packed. So on Thanksgiving, you better have all your stuff done with your clients, because that last 5 weeks of the year is largely going to be you tidying up your projects and meeting deadlines. And the same thing with them. They're going to be meeting with their clients and tidying up their deadlines and getting to the end.
And we all know this. I mean, it gets really challenging sometimes because we're always fighting fires, it seems like, or maybe it's not fighting fires. It just seems like there's so many things coming at us, but we want to set expectations with our clients. We say that a lot, and I think we try, but we get down a technical route again. And by really getting these meetings queued up, it is very possible that late October or early November meeting may be the last time you engage with this client face-to-face, or even over a phone call. Maybe just emails and chats from there on out for the rest of the year. So if that last engagement is really focused on their business, how they can be more successful, what went well this year, what do they want to work on next year, those really positive sort of, hey, these people are really helping my business. When it rolls around to January and you kick off your entire process again, they're going to be showing up with the expectation that, hey, these guys are really great. They're really focused on my business. Now, you're going to be taking care of the tickets and all that stuff during that time, but the impression and the expectation that we set with our clients is these guys are helping me, not these guys are fixing problems, right? You want to be the helpers, not the problem solvers. And we can do both, but it's a little bit of a twist if we get to be seen as the people who really help them versus someone who just makes a problem go away.
Yeah, I am noticing, man, where is everybody today?
I know. That's what I was messaging our group and Slack is like
on today.
So
The end of year, man, it is only September, and we're saying what, a quarter the normal attendees. Oh, there's Mike. Yeah, Mike's not here. Something's really wrong.
yeah, things have gotten way
we always
too
miss
busy.
you, Mike, when you're not here. But yeah, I mean, like even now it's September. There's nothing special about this week of September. I can trend when people come to the weekly events. We have a fairly good attendance, and there are certain weeks where like it'll be like one of you, and it's just like, and then we'll see a bunch of people pop onto YouTube and watch YouTube, or we'll see people email us and say, "Hey, I missed this a week. What would we talk about?" But you can see it's happened. But like towards the end of the year, I need to do something. We need to do something fun in December because the rest of you are just so slammed with your projects that, okay, it's easy to skip the weekly event because, man, you get so much to do. So maybe this Christmas, we should do something fun for the December people that come in, Skip. I think Skip's all frozen up now. I wonder if it's Zoom. That's interesting.
Now. All right. You got your work cut out stitching all these together, Adam, because I had to start the recording too when you dropped.
Oh my gosh. Maybe we just won't post this one. It resumed recording for me. So whatever happened there, so this is the second time today we've lost Zoom.
Yeah, I heard I was on with one of our members in the UK, and it sounds like Microsoft was having an Exchange issue. Adam and I were on, and Sebastian was on our call earlier today, and Adam and I were being real nerdy. I jumped off of I can't ping 8.8.8.8, and Sebastian was like, "What in the world is he talking about?" So yes, weird things going on the interwebs today.
Yeah, if anybody knows, post it in the chat. So maybe that's why our attendance is a little lower today.
Yeah, maybe.
Major DDoS going on. I don't know. I'm not plugged into the cybersecurity world anymore. But I just lost everything. I lost Slack. I lost everything. That's kind of like what you guys did this morning.
Yep.
It's kind of funny because we're introducing to Sebastian. Like, okay, we have a certain set of skills. and by the way, just through muscle memory, I typed in it is 4.2.2.2. That's what I
okay.
Just I'm like, oh, that's the IP address I do. Because we were trying to remember which ones what IP address do you ping when your internet is down?
Yeah,
we all have our favorites, and
all by nature.
Skip is 8.8.9, and when as soon as he said that, I could not remember what I did. My go-to is mine's 4.2, and anyways, back to the meeting here, and then I'm going to have fun stitching this together later.
Yep. Good luck.
Have the intern do it. But anyways, what this part of the year is going to be is all about how do we develop the QBR and how do we make it count? So we have multiple clients out there, and this QBR is one of the most important because of what we talked about last week, being the first of the table. But you still need to do the QBR, and you need to be able to do your annual review. Can you get your client to 2 meetings in the next 8 weeks? That becomes the big question for everybody on this call.
Yep.
And so if you can get your 2 clients to these meetings in the next few weeks, yay. Or you can combine them and your Q4 meeting gets split a little bit. So knowing that you don't have as long in Q4 to do projects, you can say, hey, here are the projects. We're going to finish these up by Thanksgiving. However, we need to talk about 2023. And you can split that meeting a little bit. Or you can maybe make it a 90-minute meeting, because it's easier for a client to make a 90-minute meeting than it is to make 2 60s a lot of time.
That's true.
And so doing these things and make it worth their while, like bring some cookies, bring food to this meeting, because if it's going to be a longer meeting, like, hey, we're going to bring in lunch, especially for your bigger clients. And,
Adam, I was talking with them about this while you were dropping off, and setting expectations. That's a really good technique. If you think, hey, we're not going to be able to get 2 meetings, let's make one, let's make it a longer one. And that's a great opportunity to set the expectations with your clients that, hey, this meeting's going to be a little bit different. We're going to really wrap up the year. I want to know, what went well, these sort of things. I want to begin looking towards next year, the early Q1 stuff, but I want to know where we want to end up in Q4 of next year. And saying those types of things to your clients really sets the expectation that we're going to have a really good conversation, that we're going to dive into some good stuff and not necessarily the firewall logs or anything. So that's a great way to do that. If you're running out of time, get those 2 meetings and make it cool. Bring lunch, do something. It's a small cost to have these really impactful meetings with your clients where they come away going, that was really good. I think these guys really get us. And that's what you want to do.
I don't know why Sebastian's showing up as my name
He's using your Zoom link. You sent it to him early on. And so he's using one of your Zoom links.
Oh man, we'll fix that one. What is sad right now is that we are doing a lot of dev. And I don't have one of it's going to be like feature 9. I think it's going to be, I have to look back in the list, is going to be a meeting tool that's going to help facilitate these meetings.
Yes, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be super cool, guys. So imagine having a meeting tool. You just kick off the meeting. And it's going to run you through your agenda. It's going to show them their budget. It's going to show them the projects that are up and going, what your top tickets are in the system, and kind of move you through. And then so the whole meeting is timed. So there will be no more of your client going, hey, while you're here, can we talk about whatever random thing was on top of their head at the time? There will just be a clear meeting agenda. And so, but what should a QBR look like? It should be a review of last quarter and next quarter. But because we're in an interesting part of the year, you're going to talk about next quarter in your annual review. So there are some things that are going to overlap in this particular meeting that don't in others, just because you're starting a new year. And when it comes to the new year, it becomes new expenses. So you have to treat quarter 1 differently than you do quarter 4. So your transition from quarter 1 to quarter 2, fine. Quarter 2 to quarter 3, fine. Quarter 3 to quarter 4, okay. Quarter 4 to quarter 1 becomes your annual review, because you'd say, here's all the things we did last quarter, all the things we did last year, and here's the things we didn't get done, and we have to move into 2023. So now you're talking about the entirety of 2023 instead of talking just quarter 1. Quarter 1 becomes, what are you going to do first? So if you look at our meeting agenda in the strategic meeting template, you'll see that we have an annual review and a quarter review agenda in there. They're very loose. I developed them years ago, but they are solid. They are useful. They will build into what you're trying to do. I was just going to pull one up here, but evidently I'm logged out because I lost my internet connection. But the point is that you want to treat this session a little differently. And if you do it, you will engage more projects next year. And part of it's just owning up to, these are projects we're not going to be able to finish by the end of the year. We need to move into next year. Be honest about it. Do not over promise to your clients. Say, hey, look, we haven't got these done because it's been a really busy year. So we're going to try to cram them into December. Do not do that. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to your engineers. And don't do it to your client. Setting expectations, as Skip said. Say, if you followed the MSP podcast crossover, by the way, which all of you should, because there's $1,000 in it for you. I know, because I paid for part of it, and $1,000 in cash if you share my link. Go to my LinkedIn page, share the post, and just hashtag MSP crossover. You get entered into a drawing to win $1,000 cash, hard cash. But anyways, what I talked about is for my business advice for that podcast crossover was own failure. Don't avoid failure. So failure isn't bad. Failure just means that something happened. Maybe something that was your problem. Maybe it was something that was a client's problem. Maybe you can just say, oh, this is why we didn't get this done. But own it and say, we failed. We didn't get this done, but we would like to slate it for next year. That honesty with your client will build more repertoire than trying to cover it up, because your client has a pretty good BS meter. They are business owners too, and they may be super polite in the meeting about it, unless you have one of those people in the meeting. But they'll be like, "Oh, okay," but then they go back to the drawing board and be like, "Yeah, that they don't know what they're doing. Let's start shopping." versus the person who says, you know what? I know we're going to do that exchange migration in quarter 3. We got really backed up. We lost an employee. We would like to move that with your permission to quarter 1 next year.
Mhm.
And they say, oh, okay. Or they'll say, you know what, quarter 1 doesn't really work for us. Things seem to be going pretty well. Can we move to quarter 2 when we're less busy as a business? And you go start the negotiation. Now everybody's freed up. So what the first thing you should do not do in a Q4 QBR is try to cram everything into the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's my number one recommendation to avoid in a Q4 QBR. You also should not say, hey, it's the end of the year. We're not going to talk about projects. So while you're admitting failure on things that you did not get done this year, 2, you should sit down and say, hey, we have a lot of vacant time coming up in December. So after November, we're going to have a lot of time when employees are out of the office. Can you just tell us when these times are going to be? And maybe we can schedule some downtime and some planned maintenance. Yeah. That is great. But what I see a lot of people do when I've been in these planning sessions on the other side of the table is that the vendor comes in and starts talking about tickets. And they start talking about how things are going, but they just avoid talking about kicking off new projects in November, December. Just because you can't, like, it's a little bit of a catch-22. You can't meet with your client in November, December because of scheduling. You can't get 6 people in a room, but your engineers do have time. Some of them like to avoid holidays. I worked with many engineers who love to work the holidays because it means they didn't have to go face their families. And they were overjoyed to take any double time they could because it was working on a holiday. But it's also a great time to complete a lot of projects in a ghost town of a place.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, a list of do not do this on number 2 is don't avoid talking about projects. Plan some, have fun, enjoy. Just don't expect your client to be there, but use that to your advantage. So that's number 2. And probably the final one is don't work yourself to death.
Yeah.
In a Q4 QBR, you can try to cram, just like rule number 1, you can try to cram everything in and work yourself to the bone. This is a time of year when there's enough stress and your clients are feeling the stress, you're feeling the stress. So you shouldn't have like all these last minute asks for the client. It should always be like, hey, what can we push off to quarter 1? And then what can we put in the downtime? Is there things that we can move into the downtime that we're going to get we're going to have 5 glorious weeks of downtime, people, where it's just going to be kind of avoiding. Use that to your advantage and then push projects that aren't time sensitive to the next quarter. Yeah. Free that up for yourselves. And then you can probably come out way ahead than if you try to cram in all the cash, all the projects in here to try to hit your financial goals. Yeah. If you want to hit your financial goals, my only tip for you is host some workshops.
Yeah, there you go. There's always one, and your vendors are really great on this. There's always one for, how to safely shop online during the Christmas season or whatever, little things like that still allow you to engage with your clients.
Oh man, those are always a hit. Every time I've done one of those, I would always do a safety tip in October of like how to be safe while doing your Christmas shopping. And whenever I did that for a corporation, that was loved more than anything I did the entire year before. Like, oh my gosh, that was great.
Well, and you're engaging with the people.
It was just a simple email of the do's and don'ts of the Christmas season. I don't even know. I think I did it once here where I sent it out to all of our clients, the do's and don'ts of the Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. Yep.
Think about even a podcast.
Let me throw out a little tip here. I was working with one of our members earlier this week, and great engagement. And it was really kind of interesting because the way he runs his business and the way he does things, I can really identify with a lot. And this, going deep into the details, really, getting everything fleshed out and get into the way it needs to be set up. I connected with that. And his challenge was getting these things done in time to get in front of his clients. And anyway, I get that. So I've got a real cool tip. If you're in that cycle right now, you're like, hey, yes, I want to meet with my clients. I've heard what you said about, just putting one pillar up there, just running with one report, but I don't like that. Having the empty dials on services, risk, and strategy gives me heartburn. I can't sleep at night. I won't share the screen. Well, I've heard a lot of that. All right. Hit me up. You can, email me, skip@humanizeit.biz, or reach out and grab one of the scheduling links. And I've got some ways where we can get preliminary numbers on all 4 of those dials. And if that will help you get in front of your clients and do that, then let me know. I'll be happy to work with you and make that happen. But it is really important. We need to get those up in front of our clients as soon as possible.
Yeah. And so what I want to wrap up today with is, while I don't have the meeting tool coming out, that'll probably be closer to Christmas. If we get done by Christmas, big Christmas present to everybody. Your meetings will run themselves. But I wanted to show people like what's coming out. So those of you have seen this. This is your asset inventory. Oh, blurry. Sorry. Let me fix that for you guys. Evidently, I've got a.
Hey, it's great stuff. Let's show it off in all of its 1080p glory.
Oops, wrong screen. So every time, if anybody knows how to fix this, every time my computer reboots, my screens reorder. And it is so annoying. There we go. Now I can share. Come on, Mike, you don't know how to fix all this for me? Maybe George does. George, you're always quiet in these meetings. All right.
That's another one. It's a I don't know, 1 out of 5 question of whether that's really George or not.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
He shared his link with his team too. So you have to send it to us in chat. Do we really have George today, or do we have one of the other guys?
All right. So what I have here is, this is the asset inventory. The only thing that's missing right now is the sync button, which evidently they forgot to add the sync button. So this will fully synchronize with ConnectWise. But you'll see that we have a new tool for your end of year planning, which will hit next week. So for those of you who have your asset inventory loaded up, and you can do that just with a CSV right now, or you can wait for the sync button to come up, you will be able to come over here. And as of next week, when we finish QAing this, I already found 2 bugs in it, you will be able to sort your budget and propose a monthly budget on the fly for asset management. First time we've ever really done anything like this. This will get cooler as we go along, but I need your feedback on what other things can we throw in here to make your lives easier. The idea is you should be able to do a year-end budget with your client and propose a 2023 budget with your client very easily. So if I slip over here, here's 2023. Here's all expenses for these assets through 2023. So all assets that are going to expire. So if you put your depreciation in, if it's a 4-year turnaround on laptops or 3-year turnaround, whatever it is, it'll tell you when this laptop needs to be purchased again. So your client can say, hey, you're going to spend an average of $600 a month in 2023. Is that good for you? If it's great, then go ahead and send it out to proposal. Oops, I'm on the wrong screen. Send it out to a proposal. It'll create 3 projects. Why 3 projects? Because you have 3 months where you have expenses. So you see it confirm. You're going to have 3 budget requests from your client, 3 projects. So when it comes to March, you're going to have a March project to replace these 4 assets. Ta-da! Yay! And so you say, it's 2020, Q4 budget for 2023, whatever you want to call it. Add in some notes, Mike likes to spend some money. I need Bob back in this meeting so I can make fun of him too. And you can add any other projects on here that you may have been talking about throughout the year. But for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to do this. Save. done. Proposal has been shifted out there. Now, two things happen that's really cool here is that these projects that we just exported from the budget now automatically get added to your project list roadmap. And for those of you who are super lazy like Adam Walter, so we come out here to 2023, oops, you will see that they are in the appropriate month already. So you know, as you're road mapping out 2023, the right projects are going to come up. Yes, I know. I need to do a calendar export on the project roadmap. Hold your horses. But the beauty is now you have a soft proposal out there for your client to accept in Q4, in your Q4 meeting. You can share this link with them, and you can have them go in and say, hey, just go ahead and approve that. And when a month comes up, when it gets closer to it, we'll try to get you a good deal. Now that we know we have these approved budget requests, we can then say, cool. And so the client goes, yep, $7,200 next year. That looks about right. Sign it with my email address, and I come down to click approve. Now you know ahead of time, you're going to walk into January, you're going to walk into December, and you're going to have a project roadmap where you say, what's coming up next month? And you scroll down, you see, oh, there's an approved project. When is that going to be done? Oh, it's going to be done. We need to do that in March. Here are the two things we need to figure out. Oh, look, we even have the depreciation year, how much it's going to cost, and what we're going to do with them. So we can actually go in and build this out. And now your QuoteWorks or whatever quoting tool you're using, you just send them this ticket. You're done. Then they quote it up for you. You know exactly what you're doing in March. Everybody's happy. So I'm really excited for you guys to get this in production next week, when you actually will be able to use this to deliver an end of year budget quoting into next year. So this budget dashboard is something I have been wanting to do for a very long time, people. I am very excited about it. The project roadmap is going to get revamped in 2 weeks. So look forward to that. It'll look just like this, except for much more filterable and a lot more powerful.
Yep.
But you have lots of great things. You can do a 3-year plan. You guys like to do 3-year budgets? Here's a 3-year budget. And you'll see, like, I only have 3 kinds of devices on here right now, but however many client type devices you have, they'll show up in the bottom here. And then you can filter them. So maybe you don't care about virtual machines, or you don't care about mice, keyboards, monitors. You can filter them out. You just get rid of them. But you can come in here and you can say, hey, you know what? This client's having a rough year. We're going to go ahead and move the depreciation out to 3 years on their mobile devices. Then Apple hasn't come out with anything exciting in forever. So let's go ahead and crank it out to 5 years. And, our servers are doing good, but they've done a lot more virtual. And then our workstations, let's go ahead and shrink that up to 3. And then ta-da. And you can save these views and say, this is what their budget looks like if we switch around depreciation cycles to that. Like this for this client, because of I don't have a good test environment right now. All the purchases happen in 2023. Probably don't want to have that happen. Have a conversation with your client. How can we spread those out?
Yep.
So that's what's coming up. That's how you do a Q4 review. That's how you make things better for your client and for yourself. Focus on what you can do and be honest about it is the theme to this. And then be realistic about these budgets. I'm trying to make it easier for all of you. By coming out with some of these new features, we're trying to make it so that it's just a matter of a client going, oh, I see where it is. There's a little negotiation here. Let's go ahead and even out that budget. Let's make some decisions now in Q4. So in 2023, you can tell the client, well, you already approved this. Are you ready to go? And like, oh yeah, nothing's changed. We got the budget for that. It was $16,000. I'm ready to go. Yep. And it becomes a much easier conversation because you already budgeted for it. You already had everything done in December, in November, and we're working forward the projects. So Mike likes it.
This is
the peanut gallery seems to approve so far.
Yep, so good. So far, so good. These expectations, and again, make sure you're having this conversation with the right people. The CEO of the company may or may not, the CEO role, okay, let me clarify that because I know a lot of your customers, they wear multiple hats. All right, the CEO role is not going to be as zeroed in on these finance issues. It's going to be more of the operations or specifically the CFO role. They're going to be really, really focused on this. And here's the cool part about engaging with the CFO role. Lots of times it's not about how much you spend, but when you spend. And so getting these conversations out and letting them know, hey, over the course of the year, we're going to spend $16,000, but we've broken it out so that it's going to be a fairly consistent spend rate over the year, or maybe they look at something and go, you know, we've already queued things up. We're going to have a lot of revenue coming in Q2. Can we move some things around so I can get more of this done in Q2 when we're a little more cash flush than some of the other periods? And it's really kind of surprising about how often those conversations fall into not how much, but when are we going to spend? And those are great places to be because those are quicker conversations to have and a faster path to close the deals.
Yeah, it's all about just having the conversation. And as you guys are going to see, like we are rapidly coming out with these features I've been promising since April. We built this roadmap in April. We're rapidly pushing it out there so that you can have these conversations. And instead of just sitting there and telling your client what to do, you're actually going to come up with a plan together so that next year the money is going to flow into your MSP a lot better because it's solving problems for your client. Having a great time of it and enjoying the conversation that you're going to have in quarter four. Yes. I love quarter four meetings. I love the honesty of them. Sometimes I get a little bit of shock from a client when I talk, or from even staff members. And I say, okay, what are we going to get done? What aren't we going to get done? And being okay with their failure. I'm like, okay, so we're not getting it done. When can we get it done?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking January, and you see a little bit of relief in your engineer's eyes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man, if that got taken off my schedule for December or November, you see like this, you'll see them just relax a little bit. Because if you ask them, they're going to try to get it done in December. When you give them permission to move it to quarter one, all of a sudden they relax more and much more grateful.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. I thank you for coming. If you have any questions on your quarter four QBRs and how to smush them together with your annuals, reach out. I love talking about this stuff. I'm happy to help you plan out what it's going to look like for you. If you have any like feedback for the budgetary features, send it in. Tell Skip, tell myself, tell Sebastian, tell one of the devs, and we will get these things adjusted for you. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See ya.